Alright, and we're back up. So I'll be playing for the next game. If you have some recommendation for builds you want to see, let me know. It's still time while I queue for a new game. Let's not have some echo there. Just want to post a video basically. Alright, hopefully we're gonna have a game in about 40 seconds.
So what kind of hero are you thinking about going with here?
So, let's see. Usually I really enjoy very mobile, very high burst damage heroes. I'm gonna say I main Eris usually. Red in general. I really like playing Apocalypse, Devilkins, stuff like that. I saw a suggestion.
Pyrosaurs.
Yeah, Pyrosaurs. Pyrosaurs when I don't have a good frontline ally, I usually pick them with Cinder Beetles.
Oh, yeah.
Works pretty well. Nice shirts, thank you. Or I'm thinking about. I think this shirt is actually pretty good right there.
I've been using Cinder Beetles on the Titans a lot lately.
Yeah,
Just
they do
bring
quite
it-
a lot of damage
Yeah,
actually.
they do. It's been pretty good.
And you can also, what I like doing with them in those particular Titan fight is spawning the beetles, and if the enemy comes contesting, you actually just pick the little beetlings out
Send them off.
and send them off. Like they're
Yeah.
really like pretty good move speed, and it's just free units really.
And then when you get them upgraded, if they do get wiped out, they spawn the
Spawn even
beetlings
more,
too,
yep.
Just cause happiness. Except for you.
Alright, looks like we got a game. Let me switch scenes over here. Oh, I didn't update the settings on the game. I hope my controls will be okay.
Good mouse sensitivity. Feeling
Yeah,
alright?
I'm feeling it
Feeling
right now.
alright,
I think
alright.
it's good.
Choose your hero.
Okay, I see some red suggestions here, so I might actually go with that just because I'm slightly more familiar with it. I don't actually play green that much. I'm not a very good tank in general. I really play aggressively and flank a lot. So if I play tank, I tend to just not be there for my teammates, which is not very helpful. And I see someone going rhyme with some tanks in there, so yeah. I might actually do that. Let me just warn them that I'm streaming. Right, okay. I think I might just go with Eris. We have, yeah, some Sense Stingers suggestion here. That's actually my fairly standard build. I don't rely that much on Sentinels just because I place quite a lot of wards usually, which I find enough, unless they're going shadows, which I haven't really seen recently.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't been able to leverage Sentinel properly, and I usually swap them out for something a little more actiony, just because I rely on my allies to provide more vision and wards.
Yeah, they get pretty useful like a higher level just because getting good map awareness is so crucial at that level. But I usually prefer swapping them out for something a little split pushy. Patchbot.
A pinch.
Patchbot, I could do without it, just because my two teammates already have some. I could swap it for Rosterinos. Let's see if they
An
have.
Ember Fiend.
I could do Amber Fiends. Sadly, I'm a little too mobile to pick such a positional unit. I think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Pyrosaurs instead. Just because I like them. And it's just really good to deal with like mass wisps, mass spitfires, things like that. So let's go with that.
It's fun to kind of chase down a retreater with Devilkin. Speak louder, Bob.
Or maybe, okay, maybe we should just do
Slide
that.
this over.
Put the mic a little closer
going
to
to
Bob
speak
here. Alright, let us know if that's still not good enough. Yeah, so going back to that particular composition, I've played it a little like, yesterday. Basically, I like to go pretty early Devilkin and Cinder Beetles because it gives you like really good map movement and meat shields really with the beetles. which lets me play a little safer. If you go full Sand Stingers are really fragile, so you have to be extremely careful with them.
Yeah.
And since I tend to play very aggressive, if I go full Sand Stinger, I usually just lose way too much. Sadly, I'm gonna have to go through settings a little bit here.
It is time to build our armor.
What are you gonna push for first? Are you gonna try and get a Juggernaut out as fast as you can?
Definitely. So part of what's good with this particular build is that oh god, my settings are all over the place. Let me change that again. Do that, and I like my new map on the other side. There we go. Alright, that put me a little behind, but shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, so like I was saying, what I really like about this particular build is that you're basically getting Devilkin Dervishes early, and that means that you have to get to level 2, to tech level 2 very early too, and that lets you get Juggernauts very early too.
Yeah.
You get those two, oh, and I'm not paying attention. That lets you get basically those two units. What am I doing? I need to concentrate a little more.
Pick one.
That basically lets me get 2 key units pretty early in the game, which is actually very useful. What I want to do here is make sure I tank with my hero and not with those units, because Sand Stingers are just really fragile, like I said earlier. Right, I'm gonna let Bob talk a little bit more just so I can concentrate on the game and not play poorly.
It's cool seeing how some of these heroes have developed over talking art and animation here. I've always been a big fan of Eris because she does have this bow which provides this really cool silhouette against the ground as she's running over things, and it's like this nice big crescent shape that feels like it's moving through the air. And you know, even if you're not hearing it, the animation of her doing her arrow shot, I can almost imagine the twang of a string, even though the bow's pretty high tech.
She feels very satisfying to play for sure. So here what we're doing is trying to deny their side of the camp, which is working pretty well. If you can deny early enemy camps, that lets you get a little edge before the first Titan fight, which is actually really good.
Resource gain.
Yeah, what I basically want to do myself is, again, get to level, to tech level 2 as soon as possible, so I really need those 150 shards. Which is why I'm also going to ignore the critters still, just because those give a little more and give also energy, which will give me a little bit more leeway if I lose my Sand Stingers, because Sand Stingers are, again, very fragile. So getting those extra energy resources early will let me be a little more aggressive afterwards.
You've got a minute before the Titan comes up. Are you gonna make a play for their caterpillar over in the grassy area?
I think I'm just gonna play safe, since I got a little delayed earlier because of the creep mistake. I'm not gonna get the Devilkins in time for the first Titan, or if I do, it's gonna be a little... Yeah, it's gonna be a little tough. I think what I'm gonna do instead is just get a little more supply here and get a couple beetles just to tank for me.
Yeah.
Especially because Rhyme is just getting his Nolusks too, so we won't have much front line. Yeah, we could just get a little bit of farm there while we do that.
Now when you're burning down the Titan with the Sand Stingers, are you using the dash ability to kind of get that extra damage boost on them, or is it mostly just trying to arrange your tier 1s in a spot where they're least likely to be taken aggro from, or being harassed by the enemy?
It's usually more of the latter. I prefer, especially for the early fights, I prefer keeping my dash to get out. Especially if I don't have like a graph in front of me.
Gotcha.
Alright, what I want to do here is try to get as far as possible as from that monkey here, because that guy does a lot of damage. I'm going to try and take him out. There we go.
There you go.
That way I'll be a little safer with my Sand Stinger. I don't want to overcome it either. I'll take grass out here. Basically, since they're out DPSing us on the Titan right now, what I want to do is just take their unit out. So that they can't DPS it as much. If we can successfully get their army whittled down, then that will let us actually DPS our Titan safely. usually when the enemy team has a lead on the Titan health like this, what you want to do is take their forces out, so like this they can't actually commit to the fight.
Yeah.
And then it lets you DPS yours really. Here Rhyme is overcommitting a little bit, so I'm gonna help push.
Yeah, Vela's getting some good damage in on your Titan to bring it back in line.
Vela is actually a squad you want to almost focus on the Titan, just because you can't really go past that center line here. If you do, you're gonna get caught out of position and lose a lot of units.
On my way.
I'm really hoping I can get my Cinder Beetles pretty soon, because I'm taking a lot of damage right now. Thankfully, Eris by herself is actually pretty tanky, so I can still do quite a lot with it.
At this point, are you starting to think about what upgrades you're going to be going for first, or are you still focusing more on getting?
I'm still focusing on the Juggernaut and Nilk, and I'll start focusing on the upgrades right after that.
Got it.
Usually what I do, and that's unless I'm getting a little behind. If I'm behind, I'm still going to focus on the units, because I just need those tier 2s to just have more mobility.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I love the way he falls into the pit.
We have the same thing.
Here we don't really have any objective to take other than that, so what we should probably do is just support the Titan, try to get some picks.
Tower damage.
Yeah, if there are... oh, I hope my allies are gonna get me passed out here. What you can do while the first Titan is out, since the first Titan doesn't actually do that much damage, is you can focus on resourcing if you still have some creeps out. It turns out that we personally don't. I'm gonna pop up the beetles here just to help DPS that tower, which falls down pretty quickly with it. I think we shouldn't overcommit now, we should just back off.
I was going to ask if you would want to go for that third tower or start on the warp tower. It didn't seem like you would have enough.
No, I think we would have been
too.
cut out of position if we stayed for too long. What I'm going to try doing is just checking if those... Yep, those are out. So now the medium camps just spawned. So what I'm going to try and do is pull that camp out.
I'm there.
I want to make sure they don't reset. The leash is really close here.
On my way.
Yeah. I don't want to get cut out of position here either. What I'm gonna do is just basically keep them here and try to snipe them out.
Cool.
Yeah, they reset here. I can't really commit too much. I lose a single beetle, which is not too bad. Two of them were here, so now what we need to do is take our own side. So as you can see, I'm starting to build up on Devilkin Dervishes.
Let's start some
I'm gonna just backfill with Sandstingers for now. So these two little guys will let me move much faster on the map and get a lot more DPS out of my Sandstingers and Cinder Beetle.
I love the kind of tribal styling that those guys have too, and they kind of live in the same world as Eris, a bit more than they do the Sandstingers. They're kind of this more bipedal, you know. I love the animation of the dance. Just you can almost hear it. And I talked to John about effects and stuff, and often when he asked me to take a look at them and give feedback, and when he has an effect that I can hear with no audio, like it has the proper punctuation, I'm like, man, you nailed it.
Yeah, it feels really good to use.
Yeah. I love the dark energy that the staff wields as well. It's kind of a unique style for this red grouping. Eris has it on her bow as well for her arrows.
It feels very chaotic. Yeah, I really like that.
It's kind of this dark magic,
yeah,
which is cool. Kind of in line with the chaos of red.
Okay, so at this point of the game, so some people will start, and I started getting tier 2, so I'm gonna get my Titan, my Juggernaut right here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on a separate control group just so that I can control it outside of my main army.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna send him right away. I want to make sure I know where the enemy is, because just sending out the Juggernaut without support from your team, if the enemy team is there, they'll be able to deal with it very easily, and you're just gonna waste your cooldown on it. So there's multiple ways you can use a Juggernaut like this. You can basically use it to just help you push towers, because it will tank the tower and get aggro from it. Or you can use it to split push, which is basically, for example, if you're doing the Titan fight and you have the Juggernaut up, you can send the Juggernaut either top or bottom, and that will let you take only one player of their team to actually deal with it and let you out DPS them on the Titan.
Now, positionally, like when you have this guy queued up and you have him, do you kind of want to give him a staging area? Like, is there an advantageous spot to put him right now so that he's kind of in the neighborhood of that tower when you do decide to push forward?
Yeah, I could, for example, I could place him, I could place this guy a little closer here, just to be in range of tower faster. Since we don't have as much math vision as I'd like, I'm just gonna keep him pretty safe. I definitely don't want to lose him before the Titan fight.
Okay.
And since I don't have any vision on the enemy right now, I'm gonna play it safe and just keep my Juggernaut right here, ready to push down as soon as the Titans come up. It's a little bit of waste of time on it, and I might have been able to just push with it, use it, but build a new one and get the new one for the Titan. But here again, since I have no idea where the enemy is, I'm just gonna play it safe.
Yeah. So now that you have him up, are you starting to think about the upgrades you're going to start wanting to invest in?
Yep, so I just started attack level 1 right there.
Nice.
I'm going to try and go to attack level 2 as soon as possible. I do want to get my tech level 3 pretty early too.
Cool.
This will let me deal with the purifiers that are on the left of the map right here.
Yeah.
My comp right now doesn't have basically anything right there to deal with the purifiers. Rhyme and the Deadeyes here can do some amount of damage to them, but getting those Apocalypse shot on them will be pretty good for us. I'm gonna think we can out DPS them, so I'm just gonna do that. I might just send some. I can't really go. I can't really go into it. So my hope is that we can just out DPS. So I'm gonna do that. This will put our Titan after a while outside of their range. Okay. And if we do it fast enough, we'll be able to potentially out DPS them. Then I don't know if that will be very, very close. Yeah. That's out of range. They might be able to take it. I don't want to. Yeah, they still got it. It was very close. We should have focused a little harder on the Titan. It's still a level 2 Titan, and we got the first one, so it's not that bad. I'm gonna be slowly transitioning to Apocalypse here, just to deal with those purifiers. I'm hoping they're not gonna build too many of them. And here you can see like the use I have of the Devilkins, which is I was caught a little out of position with Rhymes here, and what I did is just pop the War Dance just to get out of it.
Yeah.
I have to be really careful with the purifiers here. I'm taking a lot of shots. I'm basically gonna build a little more Cinder Beetles just so that my Beetlings can sustain the fire, the initial fire from the purifiers.
On my way.
We have to make sure we don't let that Titan take out any of those two. It shouldn't be too hard because it's pretty low right now. And they're not pushing with it really. They see that it's low, and it's actually very scary for them because if we take it down and then compound on them,
that's a big
we
loss.
can do a lot of damage. Right now it's more in their interest to just play safe, farm, and we might be able to take Rhyme out of position, unless he's backing off pretty hard. There's a lot of little bunnies here, so I'm just gonna take those out. If we can take both theirs and ours, that's actually pretty good for us.
I love the design of those guys, they look so squeaky.
Yep, it makes me wanna, get their little ears worth of crystals.
Ooh, ultimate ready.
Okay, so that ultimate will help us. I'm personally pretty cautious when I use it because it does prevent your hero from moving for the duration of it. So you definitely don't want to just overcommit with it, go in melee range, pop it. Sure, you'll do a bit of damage, but if you lose your hero there, it's might not be worth it.
So you don't often wind up saving it for a Titan fight?
Exactly. When I know I have my front lines in front of me and I can safely pop it, that's usually what I do with it. Unless there's a very obvious,
perfect case
for it, then I'll use it for sure. I need a little more supply, so I'm gonna do that and then focus a little more on shards to get 3 Apocalypse. So here the camp spawn, you definitely want to do the outside camps first. Just because this middle one is very safe.
It's easiest to get.
So even if you're behind after that, you can still go do your own safe Titan.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Titan, sorry, I mean jungle creeps. I'm gonna wait to get a little more.
And that Juggernaut's still waiting there, patiently.
Yeah, I totally forgot about him, to be honest. I was casting and talking. Okay, this is gonna be bad for us. This is gonna be. This is an occasion for me to use my ult if I have a front line, but it's gonna be probably
Double
pretty
pin
hard.
escape.
Yeah. Let's see. That's actually a pretty good time for me to send my Juggernaut up.
The other way.
I'm
Nice.
just actually just gonna do this.
Nice, yeah.
Hopefully that will let us do something here. I'm gonna take this guy out just because they're not pushing to get it.
Resources.
On my way.
And I'm gonna try and snipe this one. I'm just gonna make sure there's no purifier there. They actually reset it, which is interesting and good for me. I have an Apocalypse ready here, which is gonna help me deal with these purifiers. Hopefully this won't get too contested.
Yeah.
Will let me do some initial damage here. Alright, so we got some of that. I'm gonna leave that here, and what I'm gonna do is take my units and send just one, put that out of my main control group and send one up top here just to face check whether they did it or not. If they did not, because I might have gotten some time out of the Juggernaut here, I'll go push there and potentially contest them. I definitely want to make sure I leave a unit here just to get the resources if they're doing the hard camp.
Right.
Alright, so they did the top camp, so what I'm going to do now is just help my own team do this hard camp. It means that they got, I think they got the big one, so we're a little behind, but it's definitely not that bad. They might actually not have done their own yet, which might actually let me pull it and do it. It's pretty, it's a little risky because you're on their side of the map, really.
But you have the tower opening that.
But I have the tower
made,
opening, yeah. It didn't take down the tower, sadly. It just took out the shield and basically bought us a little bit of time.
But your bottom tower path is.
Oh, the bottom, yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do here is ward.
We have the same thing in mind.
And then, okay, if it was there, I would have just used my D here to pull those hard camp out and potentially pull it. So we're in pretty good shape for the Titan spawn here because our enemies are slightly out of position here. And this is gonna get us like quite a lot of free DPS on those Titans, which is really, really good for us. Not get go here. They have a little too many Nautilus for my liking here. I'm gonna try and get some shots out of my Apocalypse here. I basically want to get these guys here. I got one. That wasn't super worth it. I just want to start making them afraid of it.
Yeah. Cool noise. Playing the head games.
Yep.
Psychological warfare.
Okay, so this is pretty good for us. We're getting quite a lot of DPS. We don't want to get caught out of position. I want to keep my Cinder Beetles in front of these guys so I can take their plate really fast.
Nice.
Their purifiers are so they're getting a lot of purifiers right now. It's pretty insane, actually. Yeah, he's putting all of his shards into it. It's gonna be a little hard for us. This is a good time for me to use an Eris ult if I can, but I'm gonna need my Rhyme buddy here. Purifier is sweeping again. They might have gotten the range bridge already, I can't really tell.
Worm's trying to mess with you.
Yep. Now I'm rebuilding my army. I'm gonna need to get this to build the purifiers. This is pretty bad for us because we don't really have a front line right now, so we don't have anything to deal with the purifier shots.
So would you use the Apocalypse to try and shock them back a little bit?
I could have. Right now they just had too many. My I don't have the ability power upgrade yet, which means that my Apocalypse shots won't actually one-shot their purifiers. So I needed that second Apocalypse here. What I'm gonna do now is to relieve a little bit of pressure. I'm gonna send this Juggernaut down there.
Yeah.
I don't want to get caught by the purifiers here. It is really
feisty.
It's a really good composition against ours, really.
Boom.
Okay, I got the Zephyr, which is gonna help us a little bit.
The Zephyrs are a fun unit in that it pushes enemy units around and just kind of just distorts the battlefield and battle positions, but it's really tough to go against sometimes. Fun
I'm just gonna use my ult here to zone them out of the Titan.
Nice.
My hero might die, but I think that's pretty much fine. I just want to get enough space to deal with the Titan. They have to pull it out. My hero might just die. That's okay. It's not great. We don't really have anything to deal with Turret Fires, sadly. I still have my Apocalypse, which is good. Have my third one out, which will hopefully let me take them out. But I still need my Rhyme frontline in front of me to do anything. Okay, so what we need to do now is try to get back in terms of resources. Like, I need to be able to get later game upgrades. I need to get this, which I'm just starting now. This is Self-Fulfilling Prophecy. This will basically reduce the cooldown of Destructive Prophecy, the AoE from my Apocalypse, by 2 seconds for each unit it hits. So basically, if I can get those shots, if I can take down those Purifiers, I should be able to hopefully wipe a good amount of their army, and that will let us get back into the game.
Yeah, if you could get some of those wisps, I think they were having wisps out.
Yeah, I'm currently not very much afraid of the wisps themselves. They do
the
quite a lot of
damage,
DPS on the Titan, which is good for them. But I'm much more afraid of those Purifiers right now.
Yeah, but getting the hits on them with your Apocalypse will help that cooldown get reset faster.
Yep. I'm hoping I'm gonna see if my Rhymelai can go a little bit more Noiseless.
So one quick art thing, it's kind of a silly little set dressing thing, but one thing we've done with the various camp areas is kind of place some set dressing in the world around to kind of support them. So you notice the hard camp has a bit more of these large tropical leaves to kind of help support the mantis flower and things like that. And the I'm sorry, not the mantis, the pitcher plant jungle character. And more of these tentacles, which actually evoke the shape of the tongue, and the medium camps have a bit of these blue flowers to kind of help support the blue flower of the mantis camp as well. Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna be careful and keep my Devilkin War Dances up, just so I can be pretty easily, just in case I'm getting flanked. I'm gonna let my ally path here.
So going for that warp
out.
spire is
Yep.
going to help open that area
I'm a little
up
afraid of that, so I'm just gonna back right after this.
Nice.
This is why War Dance is actually pretty good.
That worked out well.
Just committing a little too far here. I'm gonna try and zone out with
Nice.
Apocalypse here. This guy, I'm just gonna pull it out for now. Okay, that was a really good shot here. They couldn't defend in time, so we got a Warp Spire for free, basically.
Now,
so this will prevent them from warping from this side, which means I will most likely see them coming from here, which will be much more predictable during the Titan fight, and hopefully let us get back in the game.
So your Juggernaut's health is low right now, and there's not much you can do about that unless you have an engineer on the field?
No, engineers only work on structures.
Structures? Okay.
Right now what I can do is I can put it in the heal field here. It's gonna take a while.
Okay.
It's gonna take a while because Juggernaut's just so much health right now.
Yeah.
But it's still gonna help. I'm gonna go up to... I usually don't take that many defensive upgrades on Eris because I like to focus on just raw damage. But the Purifier, I'm so afraid of the Purifiers right now that I'm gonna take level, defense level. Yeah. Okay, so what I want to do here is pop this up, tank the first shot of the Purifiers, and then all my Destructive Prophecies on there.
Nice.
And now I'm wiping all the Purifiers.
Nice.
I want to get another single beetle. I want to get out real bloody. Pop my W again, tank the shots. I don't want to waste my Apocalypse on the Nautilus. Oh, that's very good old combo here. I should have popped my Devilkin Aura much earlier. So with the Purifiers out of the equation, this is actually very, very good for us. Because it was most of their annoying DPS. It was dealing with Rhyme tier 1s and Bela just way too easily.
You guys have the Titan advantage, right?
Yeah.
At the moment.
I'm gonna try and zone out a little bit. Sadly, I don't have enough ability power yet to one-shot the commandos here. They're zoning us out. I'm gonna rebuild my lost Apocalypse.
Are you holding the ult for the potential Titan attack?
I like using my ult to zone out usually.
Yeah.
I don't think zoning out here would have helped that much because we didn't have any follow-up.
Right.
I'm hoping if they do get the Titan, which it looks like there will be, I'm gonna try and zone them out a little more here. I need to get those commandos out of the way, so I'm just gonna focus them out one by one. Basically wait until he de-aggroes and come back, wait for my Devilkins to go back, pop them down. They have another wave of purifiers, they must have a lot of shards right now. That took one out, that was good, but it's not enough for us to contest the Titan.
Looks like they definitely went for the range upgrade on those.
Yeah. Yeah, and I still don't have enough AP to deal with the high health unit. I'm gonna try and go... Yeah, I'm a little short-starved, and I want to make sure I don't use all of them, just because I want to be able to rebuild my Apocalypse when they die.
So your best bet right now is trying to catch an easy camp in the neighborhood of invading enemies, or
right now we're gonna defend. We're gonna make sure the archive tower doesn't fall. Hopefully my ally will help.
Oh no!
We're gonna...
Still holding the middle
Yeah,
down.
we don't want them to. It's good that they're there too, because we don't want the enemy team to push, to split push by themselves there.
Right.
But this is gonna be actually pretty
Close.
hard for me. Yeah. I've gotten a little more Cinder beetles here.
Oh no.
Nope, it's gonna get that tower. That is pretty bad for us, because it means that even when the Titans are not up, we're gonna have to be careful for the flank
Your
coming
entire
here.
left side is,
And they can just, if they have enough DPS and set down their purifiers right here, they'll be able to just zone us out of the archive and just like take it down. They also have a lot of resources here from the buildings that I'm pretty sure they're gonna try and get. I'm gonna make sure I don't commit my entire army there, just because in case they were all three here, I don't want to lose those Apocalypses. Those Apocalypses are basically my primary response to what their composition is right now.
So is their best bet being defensive Apocalypse at this point?
You mean my Apocalypse?
Yeah.
My best bet is to try and get their purifiers, basically bait their sieging, try to keep my beetles in the front of my army, which is not the case right now. Get the W out so that they can tank the early shots of the purifiers, and use the cooldown of those purifiers to land my own destructive prophecy on them. So I've been scouted by, this was Celesta's ult, Celesta's basic ability.
Yeah.
I want to base check here, so I'm going to put a ward. We should definitely try and get the hard camp if we can. I don't want to get caught out of position either. I should have kept my single ward here to do that. I'm gonna leave a single beetle here, take my other one here to tank, and hopefully we'll be able to take that camp.
His attack there is a stun as well. The hard camp guy. Most of our camps actually do stuns, as they're very.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep and try to remember that I have a Juggernaut this time. I'm gonna place him right there, and I'm gonna use it to relieve pressure during the next Titan fight. There's still a good chance we can win that game if we can get that next Titan fight. So I'm gonna keep that guy around. I'm gonna back it up a little bit just in case they decide to push that lane. And I'm basically gonna try and use it to force them to go back and deal with it. I'm a little afraid that they're gonna push here. So I want to make sure I don't lose that Juggernaut too early. I'm going to put it pretty safe, more safe than I normally would, just in case. I want to make sure I have it for the next Titan fight.
Should you go for your hard camp right now just to get that resource back up?
I think we should. I'm afraid the Titans are going to spawn very soon. I didn't pay attention to the timer. Thankfully those two conduits here That's fine, we should be able to dodge most of it. Who's a hero, but that's not too bad.
Unit production complete.
And I'm just gonna back here because I see a lot of armies here, they're gonna go pick it up. Maybe we can get a few, a few purifiers here. They're not that much protected. I just want to make sure I get my Cinder Beetle in front of it though. Alright, let's see if we can do that.
Oh man. Yes! Yes! Yes!
Okay, that was really good. It will take them quite a bit of time to respawn them, or to buy them back. So hopefully the Titan will spawn in not too much time. I have a lot of shards here. I'm gonna use those. I'm gonna keep just a little bit so I can rebuild. I'm gonna send this guy to tank the first shot of the purifier. Do I have enough? I can't quite one-shot them there. I need to get that next ability power upgrade. I'm using Juggernaut to tank a little too much here. Okay, the Titans are up. I'm gonna send my Juggernaut down all the way back just so that it takes more time for them to respond to it.
Nice.
And well, let's hope this goes okay for us. They haven't done much DPS yet. I wish I had a little more things out. That is pretty good. Sadly, I can't quite one-shot those units, so I'm gonna try and just get some DPS down on it. This is where my upgrade on the Acolytes is actually very helpful, because if I can land those easy shots, I'll be able to get a lot of the cooldown refunded.
Get your level 20 ultimate.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just use it to zone out. It's such a huge AoE now. I want to make sure Rhyme is getting in front of me though. Okay, that is pretty good. I can't quite pass in front of them. I want to make sure I wait for those guys here and take those out. Nice. Okay, that's pretty good for us again. I'm gonna get caught by the stun here. Okay. They still have a lot of purifiers, it's pretty crazy.
Battle horns.
And I still can't quite one-shot. I'm just gonna use my ult to zone him out of the Titan here. I'm gonna get one purifier down with it. I need to make sure I rebuild at the same time. I'm gonna use my hero to tank. I have only one Destructive Prophecy, so I can take only one purifier out. I think we've seen their rank quite a bit. I'm gonna keep my hero in the front again just to tank those purifier shots. I have another Destructive Prophecy. Hopefully that will be enough.
Nice,
yes.
Nice.
If I can get those Batterhorn at the same time, I'm gonna ward to get vision over it. I can't quite get it, but that zoned them out pretty hard of the Titan. I want to make sure I get another Juggernaut as soon as possible.
They probably spend a bit of their time responding to that Juggernaut too.
Yeah, I want to get sure I finish this and get the next one as soon as possible so I can one-shot those purifiers. I don't think they're getting... yeah, they're not getting any magic resist, or not much at least. If we can get that Titan, this will be a big win for us.
Be a push coming back pretty
We'll definitely
soon.
have to push with it. We can't just let that Titan go to waste.
Right.
Alright, so we're pretty good. Titans, basically like the little yellow halos you see on the units, are an armor and magic resist buff. So this is pretty good for us because we don't really have a front line. So that buff here will be very helpful. I wish I had control over it. My ally had the last shot, so he is controlling it. I wish we would have pulled out a little bit and waited for it just so that the Titan doesn't
soak up too much
damage. Okay, I'm gonna soak the purifier damage with my hero. I might lose her, that is fine, because I can now one-shot the purifiers.
Yeah.
My reinforcements are a little behind.
Conduits are burning that generator down.
Conduits are pretty good. I'm gonna get another shot on the purifiers here. Make sure I get my beetles in front of the army. Get the purifier down. Yeah. Get those resources. I need to get that other purifier. I'm gonna wait for him to just siege like this. Land the Destructive Prophecy. It will one-shot it because of the AP upgrades. Okay, this is turning out pretty good for us. I don't want to overcome it either. I want to make sure my Apocalypse stay healthy.
Can you nuke them from that plateau up there and do a little extra supporting damage?
I'm gonna basically, just use my Devilkins for just raw DPS at this point.
Okay. That was a good push.
That's a good push. I'm hoping with the damage output coming from the well, I have to be sure I get out of this Grath ult. Is the damage output of the conduits? I'm hoping we can just finish the. Oh, I'm in a bad position here. I have to not lose my Apocalypse. I want to get those two alchemists.
Nice.
I want to get those
healers,
those heroes down in the back. Usually they're not very well. Yep. I want to make sure I get the last hit on it. There we go.
Nice.
Okay, those frogs are scary. We don't want to get caught out in them. Although they're gonna be staying here. I'm gonna put. Yeah, frogs are really tanky. I don't want to get caught out by that. That Battlehorn either. We could have almost finished here. That was really close. They got their key units out again, really at the right time. Those two frogs and the Battlehorn were really key for them. You can see now that I have a ton of shards. Most of it is from those structures we got out. So now what I can do is make sure I get those two key tier 3 upgrades. Make sure I rebuild. Gonna get all the Cinder Beetles I can.
Cool.
And let's see.
So at this point,
I think I'm gonna get this just for extra tanking.
Okay.
And I'm gonna keep the rest of my shards just in case I mess up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have another Juggernaut that I'm gonna keep again. This time I'll be able to push really far, and they will have to respawn to it.
Yeah.
I could also try. I can either keep my shards to rebuild in case something goes wrong, or I can research tech level 4 and get the Juggernaut tech level 4 upgrade. This is a tough one. I'm gonna play safe. I'm gonna keep the shards I have.
At this point, I mean, the next Titan is probably gonna be able to push it all the way to either archive. And so, are you starting to think about what you could do to kind of ensure closing out that fight, or is it mostly about the opportunity of swooping in and doing what we can?
I'm definitely gonna keep it to try and get into a 2v3 in the Titan, just to get one player out of that zone.
Gotcha.
We definitely want to win that Titan fight, so we're gonna. Here we could go and get resources, but we definitely want to prevent them from setting up their tank, their purifier. Sorry, right there. If they lay out their purifier in a very nice concave here, it's gonna be really hard for us to break it out. Hopefully they will make the same mistake they did during the last Titan fight, which is that they grouped their purifier within a very small box, which let me actually land basically 1 or 2 destructive prophecies and get them all out in one shot, which was really good for us then. I definitely don't. I'm gonna pop all my Devilkin Dervish because I didn't want to get put out of position. This is why I really enjoy playing Devilkins. It lets me get out of situations like this.
Out of a tight spot. I do it the same.
What's next?
The hero around.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ward with just a hero, just so I can. Because otherwise they can just box me in here and I wouldn't have been able to go. Okay, now we really need to go. I need to figure out where the purifiers are. I need to send my Cinder Beetles. Green is here, which is a little problematic for me. I don't want to get put out of position. This is a pretty bad position for me. I'm gonna zone them out with my ult here. And a purifier here. I'm gonna try and land some more purifiers over some more. Sorry, destructive prophecies over there. This is a really bad engagement for us.
Would that plateau be a good advantageous spot to help with this?
It could have been, but the Apocalypse just don't have enough range. Okay. This is really bad for us. My allies lost a lot of units here, and I wasn't able to engage the purifiers because Grath was using his unit as a very good front line. The Nautilusks are also really good against purifier shots. So this is why I wanted to keep my shards, just in case this went wrong.
It's raining.
There's still a chance we can DPS that Titan out. This is a really bad position for me. I'm gonna try and walk around, try and get those purifier. I should have actually went all the way back here. and
a little less of a choke.
Yeah, and dealt with those purifiers from there. I don't have Cinder Beetles right now. Oh, I do have 2 of them. There will be a little late to come. What I'm gonna do is tank the first shot with my Devilkin. That was a very mistake. Too many overlapping.
Yeah.
I need to really follow up soon, and I might lose a lot of my units. But I got all of their, just all except 1 purifier, which is decent for us. I lost 1 of my Apocalypse. I have enough shards to rebuild again, so that was a good decision there. It's gonna be really hard for us to take that Titan down. At this point in the game, they have a lot of health, a lot of health, and sadly, not many units left, and I forgot about my Juggernaut again.
You can do it, Juggernaut!
At the same time, which is a little hard. I don't have my Devilkin to place myself better. I'm gonna do that. I won't get much pickups here just because the Nautilus are just very tanky at this point in the game.
You're 2 minutes from your ult.
This is gonna be very hard. We have to focus the Titan. They're zoning us out really well.
Yeah.
Gonna take these guys out. Nice. Not even. They probably have upgrades now. I think this is gonna be game for them, unless the conduits are doing quite a lot of damage. I'm just gonna throw everything I have at them. Getting Cinder Beetle, but that's definitely not enough. Yeah, 2 last Titans at this point in the game are really good. That was a really good game.
That was pretty exciting. Wow.
Wow, I'm shaking now.
Yeah, I don't know how you were able to talk through all that. I was just sitting here dumbfounded going like, oh.
I can somewhat micro and talk at the same time, but since I'm already not really good at macroing at the same time, you saw that with the Juggernauts lying there. I'm trying to learn to be a little more focused on what's going on outside of my army, but definitely, yeah, talking at the same time makes it a lot harder.
That was intense.
Alright, yeah, that was intense. I hope you guys like that. This is why also I really enjoy playing Destructive Prophecy on Apocalypse. With the upgrades, it's just really fun to get those pickoffs. Yep, yeah, there we go. Alright, we're gonna have to drink a little bit of water now and take a little breather. If you have a few questions about the game, now is the time.
Sorry, stream, did my best, said drug and dubstep.
No problem. It was a lot of good plays. They really had a good composition, to be honest, to deal against us. They had a lot of early purifier. Like, it was what, second or third Titan fight where they had those 6 purifiers, and I didn't yet have my upgrades, my ability power upgrades on the Apocalypse, which didn't let me one-shot them. So I was just, even if I committed to actually take them down, I had to take a lot of shots, and the Cinder Beetles were just not enough then. And it, again, like one miss micro, and if I send my army at the same time as the Beetles, they will just get annihilated at the same time. So it's really just tight positioning. We were able to take pretty good shots at those purifiers in the mid to early game then, just because the grass player on the other team was not acting as their front line. So that basically let me send the Cinder Beetle, get those purifier down with the Apocalypse, and then back off without actually sustaining too much damage, which was really good for us. But during that last Titan fight, if you really saw that, green actually completely boxed me out, didn't let me get those Apocalypse shot on them, and that basically is what won that game pretty much. Purifiers just being uncontested just did massive amount of damage to our armies.
So reflecting on this match now and looking at the cards that you chose, does it kind of maybe change your compositional goals for the next time you go in as Eris?
Yeah, let's actually take a look at the recaps here. Okay, so definitely what I would have changed from this composition is I would have probably focused a little earlier on the conduits on the white player, just to help me take out those purifiers. Those purifiers were definitely the threatening units in that mid game. Late game, I was almost more afraid of the green army, just because I knew I couldn't take those out in one shot. The purifiers, as long as they're not like too protected by other front lines, I can just tank the first shot, take them down, and that usually works pretty well. We just didn't really have much to deal with the enemy graph, especially at the end, with those very tanky Howling Commandos and the Batterhorn. That was just a lot of HP in general. Let's take a quick look at the graphs here.
Tresk says that he thinks we needed better tools to deal with the Nautilusks, and
yes,
that the Ember Fiends probably would have been a big difference. And
for sure,
that makes sense, especially.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The Nautilus, they weren't getting that much damage on us, and they weren't boxing us as much. I feel I was at least personally, I was much more afraid of green in that game. The Nautilus were a good front line for them. They weren't boxing me as much, but it was definitely a very hard counter pick to my Apocalypse because, well, one Apocalypse shot takes just like one tick of plate on them. And again, as you saw my composition late game, I didn't have basically any Sense Stinger, just because they would have melted immediately, but that also means that all my units were very, very slow, very very expensive, very shard heavy, and also very slow to attack, which is very very hard to take down those Nautilusks because of the plate. That was intense for sure. Definitely had an interesting lead in card collection. What matters here a lot is structures that were destructed and the hard camps that they successfully contested. Well, this was minute 20 was basically like our time to finish the game. We were really close on that Nexus. I wish those iFrogs and Batterhorn didn't get out exactly at that minute. Because conduits are actually really good sustained damage. They were melting pretty hard. Just couldn't get quite enough damage to get that Nexus down. That would have been our time. And then they got a really good End Titan.
Was that the
fight.
fourth Titan?
That was the fifth Titan.
Fifth Titan.
Wait, I'm not looking at the right. That was the sixth Titan. Minute 40. That was a pretty long game. Oh yeah, I was reading the. I need to fix this at some point.
The blue azure.
So we have It's a little. We're not quite on that UI yet because I was blue during that game. But during those in-game graphs, we actually display the winning team as blue. So I was reading this as our Titan. Turns out our Titan was at minute 30. Which is that moment was the one I was.
So here's
let us compound quite well there.
Here's a good question from Koopa Troopa 304. So he says, for an RTS noob, what do you suggest to focus on to help remove needing to use the auto production? That's a good question.
That's a very good question. Yeah. One way, there's multiple ways to go at it. The auto production is actually pretty good early in the game when you don't tech too high, because it will give you a pretty nice mix of tier 1 and tier 2s. It's when you really want to get those high tier units out that it matters. So two ways of going at it. Oh yeah, let's go back to the scene camera right there. Yep. And let me get back into the picture a little bit. So there's multiple ways to go at it, I would suggest. One is to learn to just turn it off when you want particular units. So you let it build. Well, yes, we just did it! Right on time. Where was I? Yes, one way to go at it progressively is to let AutoBuild build your early units and let it on most of the time, and just disable it when you know you want a particular unit at a certain point in the game.
So almost around the first Titan to a certain extent, because you're at about 4 minutes in.
Yeah, it's basically
you've got a decent amount of shards that you've gotten from the camps.
I would definitely try doing that. It's basically whenever you want to get tier 2 units and then get your tier 3 units, you want to disable it at that point in time. Another potential avenue of doing that would be to just disable it completely and go compositions that don't actually rely on a lot of units. One way of doing that, let me find a quick example there.
Who would be a good
Grass,
hero
for example, is a pretty good hero for that. where you could go just your ones, so your urban troopers. Let me actually just pull up those guys in the client. So yeah, if you go Grath, you can basically use up until like mid to late game, you can use an army mostly composed of Terrapin troopers, Howling Commandos.
Yeah, the stun opens up a nice follow-up opportunity.
Yeah,
there.
and potentially some patch bot, and you can keep that core army for quite a long time. So it's not as much macro required. You just build them. Whenever you have shards, you add a patch bot, you add a monkey, and you're gonna be pretty good. And then what you can do is for the later game, pick either a trebuchet or a batterhorn, and just basically play 2/3 of the game with that main core army, and then transition and put some brain cycles into building and putting your trebuchets in place. Trebuchets are really good fire and forget units. They don't require as much micro. They require just map awareness in general. Where do you want to set them up so that they don't get cut out?
So also at that point, when you're probably after tech level 2, you can then start making more choices on how you want to build up the resources you're slotting in. So if you want to get more population cap or shards and choosing your choices there, it seems pretty in line. Do you have an idea, like a suggestion for, say you do get to about tech level 2 or about the 4-minute mark ish? Might not always align. What would then be your inflection point of what to be spending into those resources?
Yeah, there's it depends a lot on your composition.
Yeah.
In the example of Grath, on that particular composition, it's pretty lightweight in terms of shards. Just so let me just check so I don't miss speak here. So Howling Commandos are only 20 shards,
right, which
is pretty cheap in terms of shards compared to the other units. Patchbots are a little more expensive. They're at 35 right now, but it's still on the low end. So what I'd suggest doing there, if you have a good lead in shard, is to just spend your money, get a few 1 or 2 patchbots, 1 or 2 commandos, keep the patchbots in the back, and then spend the rest of your shards in defense upgrade if you're the only tank. If you have an off tank like Rhyme, it's also worth getting a few attack upgrades at the same time. It just makes you a little more scary. You definitely want the defense upgrade just to increase your tankiness in general. That just can't hurt. The attack upgrade would just again let you be more scary, and like if you actually go in there and go in contact with their armies, the troopers and the commandos do quite a lot of damage. Getting those attack upgrades will let you do is that much more damage and actually potentially zone out without even having to attack. Because like if the enemy has like some Vela player, some Wisp player, and they see like a full Grath army charging at them, they will have to back. Like it's a really good zoning tool too.
That was a good educational experience for me too. I wonder if there's any other questions. It seems he says that was very helpful. Thank you. Right on.
So we're probably gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna drink some water, and we'll see if someone else is going to stream.
Yeah. GG.
All right. GG's. Yep. See you in a bit.